Aloha and welcome to my audio blog. If you can see me, then it's more than an audio blog, but we are more than that, aren't we? No, on a serious note, Nicholas and I are here in my office up in Kona in Pu'uanuhulu, and we're getting ready to transition our NLP classes from audio. Our NLP classes right now online have a slide presentation and my voiceover, and we're going to transition it to video. So we got a nice background here. We're going to be able to do some video editing up here and really get some information out to you guys, hopefully as soon as possible. Possibly by the end of this year, we might be able to get this information out. So anyway, I thought I would do our audio blog via video this time and kind of bring an added dimension to it, see if this is something that you guys like and if it's something that we can continue to do. So anyway, let's get started. The question that I was asked had to do with conscious free will. And what happened was a student emailed me from one of our courses in our master's degree program. And in the course, the textbook talked about the fact that our behavior is driven by our unconscious mind. That the unconscious mind is what drives our behavior, and therefore we don't actually have any free will. Because what happens is you think, here's what I want to do, but you kind of do the opposite. It's like you want to go right, but instead you go left. And here's the deal. I went through that in my own life. When I was a lot heavier than I am right now, I was about 85 pounds heavier. I would sit there eating the ice cream and literally as I'm taking the next bite saying to myself, I shouldn't be eating this. I want to stop eating it. But what did I do? Take another bite. What about the smoker? The smoker that lights up. I really shouldn't be smoking. Why don't they quit? You know, when asked, about 90% of smokers say they want to quit smoking. It's like they don't want to be doing that anymore. Now, by the way, if we had the conscious free will that philosophers have talked about for the last 400 years, self-help books would be really simple. You would open up the cover and it would say, just think it and it will happen. And it would say, the end. Close the book, you're done. Now, here's the problem. We don't have that level of conscious free will. Now, the student, the Haumana that emailed me, she said that she was having a real problem because there was a debate in the class. There was one group of people that were sitting there going, we have no conscious free will. We're driven by our unconscious behaviors. We just kind of got to let go and things are going to unravel the way that they do. And this other person was going, no, I have to believe we have free will because if I don't, I can't believe that we have no control over our lives. I have to believe that my focus accounts for something. Well, here's the weird thing. Both people are correct. There was actually a couple of studies that were done, and this was cited in a Time magazine article. I posted this article on my Facebook page a while back, and the research was done here. I believe it was done at Yale, and there was also research that was done abroad. And what they found is that we don't have that level of conscious free will that we thought we did. That our consciousness, which is roughly 5% of who we are, doesn't control the other 95%, which is our unconscious mind and our higher self. That in fact, our behaviors quite often are the opposite of what our conscious free will or our conscious minds want. Now, when I posted this article, one student emailed me completely depressed, kind of like the lady over here who wants to believe that we have conscious free will. And I explained something in email that I thought would be helpful to apply here in my blog, and that is this. You do have free will. If you label it conscious free will, I can bring up studies that prove you don't have any conscious free will. If you call it unconscious behavior, I can bring up studies where your focus does have a determination on what we do. In fact, both of these groups are correct. And what you need to realize is that we have conscious and unconscious, or maybe total conscious free will. In ancient times in Hawaii, here in the islands, you wouldn't take action on a path unless you were pono, unless you were right and aligned, higher self, conscious mind, and unconscious mind. When you had alignment with all three selves, then you had the free will. You had this ability consciously to drive your unconscious behaviors and bring in that energy from higher self and move down that path in a calm-centered, balanced, and effortless way. So free will doesn't come from consciousness or unconsciousness. It comes from a combination of the two. The big lesson for you is, how do I align these three aspects of who I am to create a sense of being pono, to gain that free will? I'm actually about 90% done editing my next book that's coming out that deals with the path of individuation, combining Huna and Jung's work together. And I specifically address that in there. And my best advice is that to realize that you as an individual have free will, and that alignment of being Pono allows you to express it. I hope this helps out with that question of conscious free will, and I hope you enjoyed the video blog. Anyway, let's wrap up class like we normally do. We say Malama Pono, we all stand in righteousness. Aloha Kea Kua, love is our shield. Love comes from a higher source. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be your best. I'll get Skylar in here at some point, it'll be cute. And finally, let's wrap up with Aloha Ahuiho. Class dismissed. Love you all.